To install Oracle VM Server from a CD, make sure that the server BIOS is set to boot from CD. Step 2. Insert the Oracle VM Server CD into your CD drive. Step 3. Boot the server with the Oracle VM Server CD. Step 4. The Oracle VM Server screen is displayed. Press Enter to begin the installation. Step 5. The CD found screen is displayed. If you want to make sure the CD has been created correctly, you can have the installer test it for error. Step 6. The keyboard selection screen is displayed. Select the keyboard layout type. The keyboard you select becomes the default keyboard for the operating system. In Step 7, read the license agreement text and click Accept to accept the terms of the agreement and continue the installation. Step 8. If an existing Oracle VM Server installation is found in the computer, the System to Upgrade screen is displayed. Select Reinstall System to overwrite the existing installation. Select Oracle VM Server 3.0.0 to upgrade the existing installation. Then select OK and press Enter. Step 9. The partitioning type screen is displayed. In this area, you can select whether you want to remove all partition and create new default partition layout, or remove all Linux partition and create a new default partition layout, or use the free space on selected drives to create a new default partition layout, or create a minimal partition layout for installation to a USB drive, or create a custom partition layout. But the Oracle recommends you to use a default partition layout. Step 10. If you selected to remove a partition, a warning screen is displayed to confirm that you want to remove the partition or partitions, including the data contained in any partitions. Then select Yes and press Enter. Step 11. The Review Partition Layout screen is displayed. If you do not want to review the partition layout and accept the default partition layout, select No and press Enter. If you want to review the partition layout, select Yes and press Enter. The partitioning screen is displayed. Review the partition layout and make any changes you want. Select OK and press Enter to save any changes. Step 12. The bootloader configuration screen is displayed. If necessary, you can change the drive for the master boot record by clicking Change Drive Order and selecting a different drive. Select a drive in the list and click the Move Up and Move Down buttons to change the order, making sure that the drive to locate the master boot record is at the top. Select Back and press Enter to return the bootloader configuration screen. Select OK and press Enter. Step 13. The Oracle VM Management Interface screen is displayed. Select the network interface to use for management of the computer. Choose one of these options. First, select OK to connect the interface to a regular network, or select Add to VLAN to connect the interface to a VLAN type network, then press Enter. Step 14. For non-VLAN installation, proceed with Step 15. If you selected Add to VLAN, the Oracle VM Management VLAN is displayed. If your Oracle VM Management network is in VLAN, enter the applicable VLAN tag. Note that 0 is reversed and that 1 corresponds with a tag. Select OK and press Enter. Step 15. The network interface configuration screen is displayed. If your computer uses a static IP address, enter the IP address and prefix or netmask for your computer. If your computer uses DHCP to assign its IP address, select Dynamic IP Configuration or DHCP, then select OK and press Enter. Step 16. The Miscellaneous Network Settings screen is displayed. Enter the gateway, primary DNS, and optional secondary DNS in the respective fields, then select OK and press Enter. Step 17. The hostname configuration screen is displayed. If your machine has its own hostname, select manually and enter the hostname or IP address. You should use a fully qualified hostname, for example, myserver.example.com. If your machine uses DHCP to assign its hostname, select automatically via DHP. Then select OK and press Enter. In step 18, the time zone selection screen is displayed. If your operating system uses Coordinated Universal Time or UTC, select System Clock using UTC. Select your time zone by selecting the city closest to your computer's physical location. Select OK and press Enter. Step 19. The Oracle VM Agent password screen is displayed. Enter a password to be used for the Oracle VM Agent in the password field. This password is used by Oracle VM Manager to manage and monitor Oracle VM Server and the guests created or running within it. This is the password you use when discovering Oracle VM servers in Oracle VM Manager. Re-enter the password in the password confirm field. The password characters are not echoed to the screen. Select OK and press Enter. If the two passwords do not match, the installer prompts you to enter them again. Step 20. The root password screen is displayed. Enter a password for the root user in the password field. The root password must be at least 6 characters long. Re-enter the password in the password confirm field. The password characters are not echoed to the screen. Select OK and press Enter. If the two passwords do not match again, the installer prompts you to re-enter them again. Step 21. The installation to begin screen is displayed. Select OK and press Enter. The installer installs and configures Oracle VM Server. You can follow the progress of the package installation on the screen. In step 22, when all files are installed and configuration is complete, the complete screen is displayed. Remove the Oracle VM Server CD. Select Reboot and press Enter. Your computer will reboot. Step 23. After reboot, the Oracle VM Server Status Console is displayed. The Status Console displays useful information about the server's hardware and configuration as well as its cluster and server pool membership. Step 24. To log on the Oracle VM Server, press Alt plus F2 to display the login console. You can log in into Oracle VM Server as a root with the password you set during install. To switch back to the Status Console, press Alt plus F1. The Oracle VM Server installation is complete. The Oracle VM Agent is started automatically and restart each time the computer is rebooted. Install new operating system in VMware Workstation. Step 1. Go to File, then click New Virtual Machine. Step 2. Select Typical or Recommended and then press Next. In Step 3, pick how to install the operating system. Select Installer Disk if the operating system is in the disk drive. Otherwise, choose Installer Disk Image File or Installer File if you have a file that contains the operating system, like a Windows 10 installer file or an installer file for Mac OS. Step 4. Choose precisely where the operating system files are located. If you selected to install the operating system from a disk, choose the correct disk drive from the drop-down menu. For an installation file install, select Browse and locate the installation file image. Step 5. Press Next to proceed the screen where you name the new virtual machine and pick where its file should be stored. Fill out that information and then select Next again. Important things to know. Be sure to pick a location that can handle the possibly ultra-large files created by the operating system as you use it. You might end up needing hundreds of gigabytes if you use the VM heavily. Storing it on an external hard drive is a good idea if your local hard drive doesn't have the space. Step 6. Define how storage should take place with this virtual machine and then press Next. You can change the maximum size of the virtual hard drive from small box. From the bottom of these windows are two options: store virtual disk as a single file and store virtual disk into multiple files. Pick the second option if you think you might one day move the VMware hard drive to a different computer. But take note of the text on that screen that mention a possible performance reduction of using multiple files with a large hard drive. In other words, if you plan to store lots of data with this VM, select the single files option, otherwise go with the multiple files. Step 7. Select Customize Hardware and make any necessary changes. You can change details about the memory, processors, disk drive, network adapter, USB controller, sound card, printers, and display. For example, the memory section is how you specify how much physical RAM the virtual machine is allotted. If you later decide that you've given little memory to the VM, it might perform slowly. Similarly, if you give too much, your host computer will perform sluggishly and will have a difficult time even using the VM. VMware Workstation recommends a specific amount based on how much have you installed, but you can adjust the memory to anything you like, though it's best to stick to the recommended level. Different operating system requires different amount of memory. Example, Windows 10 needs more than Windows 2000. A network adapter is an important component here that you might end up having to adjust later if your virtual machine doesn't have internet access. There are multiple options, and some may or may not work properly depending on how your host computer is set up and how the guest operating system or the VM works. You can skip this for now to have the default option chosen for you. Step 8. Choose Close to exit the hardware screen and then press Finish. VMware Workstation will create the virtual disk you specified in Step 6 and then turn on the virtual machine automatically. This process may take a while, but you can watch progress bar for an estimation of when will it finish. Step 9. Follow any on-screen prompts to begin the operating system installation. For example, if you see press any key to boot from CD or DVD, do that to start the operating system setup. For the last step, follow the direction for your specific operating system installed to add the OS to VMware Workstation. Thank you for watching.